Who seeks recognition on the legislative? Gentleman from California, I think it's the Democrats' turn. Gentleman from California is recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment at the desk.
The gentleman has an amendment at the desk. Clerk will report. I think we're waiting.
Hello, today I will tell you about a profitable way to earn cryptocurrency. Exactly in 1 minute, we can earn from 10 to 50% to the amount. The strategy of earning is to buy cryptocurrency on one exchange and sell on another, and the profit we will get thanks to the difference in exchange rates on the exchanges. To begin, we will need to go to the site Binance, buy cryptocurrency, for example Bitcoin, then go to the Dampo's website and sell Bitcoin on it. After that, we withdraw the received money back to Binance. As you can see, initially on Binance I had 4,000 USDT, and after my strategy on the balance of $5,200. And in this way, we can earn many times. The strategy may change, so get in before it's too late.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman. Point of order.
Gentleman from Alabama has reserves a point of order.
Amendment to the amendment in the nature of a substitute to H.R. 288 offered by Mr. Schiff.
Without objection, the amendment will be considered as read. The gentleman from California is recognized for to speak on his amendment.
Thank you, Chairman. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle would have us believe that this bill will bring back power to Congress. But in fact, what it really does is give more power to the judiciary and a Supreme Court that has become a partisan institution with a reactionary social agenda, one that has disregarded decades of precedent and denied millions of Americans the right to reproductive freedom, one that has also taken aim at clear water and clear air protections. And one thing that should be absolutely certain, and that is until the Supreme Court adopts an enforceable code of ethics, they should not be entrusted with even more power. My amendment today is very simple. It would allow Mr. Fitzgerald's bill to apply to courts if and when, and only when, all federal courts have adopted an enforceable code of ethics. A code of ethics for the Supreme Court is badly needed, as we've seen with serious allegations of undisclosed gifts and undisclosed travel and undisclosed lodging and undisclosed payments and benefits or compensation received by justices or their families from individuals and law firms with business before the Supreme Court. A code of ethics is absolutely essential. This amendment, which would require that before these kind of changes go into effect, that all federal courts have a code of ethics, is a small step to dealing with a very large problem at the Supreme Court. In fact, I think term limits on the Supreme Court, in which justices, after an appropriate time, would be required to relocate to the Court of Appeals or the District Court, are also an important reform, and I think the court needs to be expanded, given that the court was packed by Mitch McConnell, depriving a Democratic president of an appointment because he said the election was too close, and then in the most jarringly hypocritical fashion, jamming down another appointment during a Republican presidency when people were literally voting for Joe Biden for president. But nevertheless, although those larger steps I think are very necessary, we can begin the process of restoring some confidence in the court by at least insisting on an enforceable code of ethics. No more power for the court until there is accountability. And with that, I would...
Would the gentleman yield?
I'd be happy to yield.
Thank you. I'd simply like to point out that the gentleman makes a very good point about the size of the Supreme Court, but there's another reason also. Historically, there's been one Supreme Court justice for every circuit. There are currently 13 circuits, so we're behind the times, and we ought to have 4 more Supreme Court justices for that reason, in addition to the reasons the gentleman expressed.
Reclaiming my time, I thank the gentleman. I think he's absolutely right, and you can add to that the extraordinary increase in the caseload that goes before the court if we were just looking at efficiency. But of course, there's so much more at stake with the packing of the current Supreme Court. But in any event, this amendment is about some accountability, some enforcement, some presence even of a code of ethics. If we see nothing else, we've seen, I think, with the current court, the proof that power unrestrained by even a code of ethics can lead to the worst kind of results. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman from Alabama withdraws his point of order. The gentlelady from Wyoming is recognized to speak on the amendment.
It's so interesting that I have to read the Constitution of the United States to the folks on the other side so that they can understand how our government actually works. According to Article 3, the judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. The judges both of the Supreme and inferior courts shall hold their offices during good behavior and shall at stated times receive for their services a compensation which shall not be diminished during their continuance in office. Section 2, the judicial power shall extend to all cases in law and equity arising under the Constitution and the laws of the United States and treaties made or which shall be made under their authority. The courts already have the authority to decide questions of law de novo. In fact, other than when a federal agency is involved in the case, they do it every day. That's their job, whether it is federal courts or state courts. Their job is to decide, is to interpret the law. Marbury versus Madison, we can go back that far as well. The fact is that the Chevron doctrine has stripped the courts of the power to interpret the law. All that the SOPRA does is restore the balance of power and the authority of the courts that existed prior to the Chevron decision. This amendment is not only unnecessary, the accusations being made by the gentleman who has pushed it forward demonstrates the incredible bias on the other side and the attack on our court systems and our courts and our judges, not because they are not interpreting the law or doing what they are required to by the Constitution, but because he disagrees with their decisions.
Would the gentlewoman yield?
Yes, I will.
And thank you for reading the Constitution. I particularly appreciate you reading the section on judges and justices serving during good behavior. And so let me ask, if I can, would you consider it to be good behavior to operate without a code of ethics?
I'm going to reclaim my time. If you seek to impeach a justice, you're free to do so, or a judge. That is the mechanism by which you do that.
I'm just asking if it's good
so
behavior
I'm reclaiming my time.
to
This is my
accept
time.
free travel.
Belongs to the
This is my
gentlelady
time.
from Wyoming.
And there are mechanisms by which all of us can be held to account for our behavior. So if you believe that someone, a judge or a justice, has violated their oath of office, there is a mechanism by which you can address that, and that is called an impeachment proceeding. I believe that there was a gentleman from Louisiana who was a federal district court judge that was in fact impeached many years ago for bribery. And so that is the mechanism by which to do that. Again, the amendment is not only unnecessary, it just reflects the fact that the Democrats are mad that courts rule against their pet projects and what they think that the law should be. With that, I yield back.
The gentlelady yield to me.
Gentlelady yields to the gentleman from North Carolina.
I thank the gentlelady for yielding it. I think it makes one other point. Not only that they're mad, but that just like another famous Democrat in
Hello, today I will tell you about a profitable way to earn cryptocurrency. Exactly in 1 minute, we can earn from 10 to 50% to the amount. The strategy of earning is to buy cryptocurrency on one exchange and sell on another, and the profit we will get thanks to the difference in exchange rates on the exchanges. To begin, we will need to go to the site Binance, buy cryptocurrency, for example, Bitcoin. Then go to the Dampo's website and sell Bitcoin on it. After that, we withdraw the received money back to Binance. As you can see, initially on Binance I had 4,000 USDT, and after my strategy on the balance of $5,200. And in this way, we can earn many times. The strategy may change, so get in before it's too late.
many years ago, when they are mad about decisions that they do not like politically. Democrats have demonstrated time and again that they're prepared to fundamentally alter the institution. They will strip down the United States Supreme Court as it has been composed. They want to delegitimize justices on the court who followed all of the rules by allying with people in far-left media and continuing salacious attacks on things that have been entirely compliant with all applicable rules. If they can't if they can't have the political result from the court that they desire, they will destroy the court. That's the way it works. Absolute power is the objective, and anything that stands in the way must give way, no matter how fundamental the attack needs to be. So you hear all sorts of things like a ridiculous argument that we need more justices on the Supreme Court so there'll be one to conform to each circuit court of appeals. How absurd. No, the answer is they're angry, as you say. They're mad at the fact that they haven't been able to secure appointment of the judges and confirmation of the justices they want to the Supreme Court in a few years. Consequently, they must destroy it. I yield back to the gentlelady from